We had madness in Fayetteville. Tennessee, a top 5 operation, goes down. Final score, Arkansas 19, Tennessee 14. How did this happen? I get it was a crazy Saturday, and this added to the madness, but if you're Tennessee, you were a 2-touchdown favorite going into that thing. Felt good about everything you did 2 weeks prior in Norman, Oklahoma. Arkansas, are they better than we thought? Is Tennessee not as good as we thought? I'm not so sure I'm ready to agree to the second part of that whole phrase, and we honestly thought Arkansas was pretty good going into this thing. But with that being said, we'll break it down right now. If you're a college football sicko, if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're an Arkansas fan, would love to have you a part of this operation. The best way to be a part of this operation is by being subscribed. So let's start with Tennessee. It's going to be very tempting now to jump on board with the idea that, hey, man, we were all wrong about Tennessee. They were fraudulent the whole time. They were never really that good. Look at Oklahoma. Look at that game. They turned the ball over twice, and really maybe if Oklahoma scores a couple of times off those turnovers, it's a different ball game. I hear you. I understand the logic. I get the temptation. It's the morning after. We all want to be reactionary. We all want to define things so quickly. And this is going to sound cliche, but the thing about cliches, man, oftentimes they have a lot of truth to them. I'm not sure that Tennessee is fraudulent as much as I feel like college football is just the most volatile sport in the world, and you have 18 to 22-year-olds, and you have a redshirt freshman quarterback making a start on the road in a really tricky spot. Like every college football team, and Herb Street said this last night in the broadcast, I thought it was a really, really intelligent point. At some point throughout your season, whether you're Alabama, we saw that yesterday, whether you're Georgia, whether you are Tennessee, whoever you are, you're going to have a weekend where you just don't bring your best to the table, right? As much as you try and coach it up and guard against it, as much as you talk about rat boys, as much as you talk about the spot, there's going to be a night or an afternoon or a Friday night where you don't have your best. What's the result in those situations? Unfortunately for Tennessee, ended in a loss. And so we talked about this spot going in always being a little bit tricky. And I think Arkansas is a much better 2-loss team than folks want to give credit for. Should have beat Oklahoma State. And probably you can make the argument they had a more than a decent chance to beat Texas A&M. I mean, they had the ball at the end of the football game. A strip sack ended up being the difference there, but I digress. Arkansas was a lot better than 2 losses on their record, all right, just so we're on the same page there. To me, I think we just get more confirmation about Tennessee that they're not a finished product. And that's okay because right now we're just now hitting the halfway mark in the college football season. Like you don't need to be a finished product in October, but we saw in this spot, I think it hurt them a little bit. Off the bye week, hearing for the better part of the last, I have to believe, 7+ days how good they are, and that's not telling you that factored in, but I don't think it helped them. Redshirt freshman quarterback, like I mentioned, defense that honestly played really well last night, but you could tell there's still some parts of that secondary that are gelling. And again, I'm not knocking the defense. I don't even think you put that on the defense last night with the way that they played. I mean, you hold Arkansas to 19 points, you should win that football game. Offensively is where you look here. And I don't know exactly what the issue is. I mean, obviously, I'm on the outside looking in here, but it just felt like there was never that spark for Tennessee offensively down the field. Because you ran the football really well. I mean, Dylan Sampson goes over $130 on the ground. Typically, when you have those kind of rushing numbers for Tennessee, deep stuff opens up, the quarterback gets rolling, you're scoring in the 30s, if not the 40s, and like vibes are immaculate. Wasn't the case. And Arkansas, I mean, you tip your hat to their defensive line. Maybe that's what the difference was. Maybe it's Nico Iamaleva and his inexperience to this point that ended up being a difference maker. Maybe it's the Tennessee offensive line trying to put all the pieces together. Like, I don't know what you attribute it to, but at the end of the day, like 158 passing yards from Nico Iamaleva, he's much better than that. This Tennessee wide receiving core is much better than that. This offense is much better than that. So I think there is, again, I just think some growing pains that we're seeing Tennessee have to deal with right now that kept them from executing at the level they need to execute at to win a football game of that nature. So the bad news is you lost. The good news is I don't think you need to second-guess any of your pieces. Like, execution is very fixable. Execution is something you can go back during practice, rep it some more, look at what you did incorrectly, correct those mistakes, get in the film room, like all the cliches that coaches like to talk about after a loss. You now have a chance to go attack those and improve on those. I'll say this again. Arkansas is not a slouch defense. Like, it wasn't like you trotted out there against Yale and just had some trouble moving the football. Like, this is a defense with multiple NFL players on that side of the football. All right, Landon Jackson's an absolute dude, and he proved that last night with what he did for Arkansas. So if you're Tennessee, it stings, it hurts, it just emphasizes what you got to do the rest of the season. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the segment. But, again, I don't think it's a situation where we say, oh, man, Tennessee won't even know who they are anymore. They're fraudulent. Not ready to say that just yet. You need more from Nico. I think you do check the engine a little bit on your offense, but I don't think we're ready to say that they are fraudulent by any stretch of the imagination. Defensively, like I mentioned, it's hard to really pin too much on them. Like, sure, would you have liked to be a little bit better defending the pass in some respects, like Taylor Green went for 266? Sure. Do you really fault the defense for what happened last night? Again, if you told me that Arkansas scored 19 points on Friday, I would have taken Tennessee to win and Tennessee to cover. And I think we took both of those actually during our predictions. So it is what it is. Now, if you're Arkansas, how easy is it to root for Sam Pittman? Like, even if across the college football landscape, even folks in the SEC, I think Sam Pittman is just so likable. And they had 2 losses, and they had every reason to say, "Oh man, it is what it is. We got to mail it in now." Like, that was not what we saw from them. They continued to fight, continued to play for Sam Pittman. Tell you what, man, to put it simply, I saw a team last night in Arkansas that just chose to boss up in that moment. Top 5 team coming to your place. And whenever you have a high-powered offense like that in Tennessee, I think the temptation is to try and just stick around till the fourth quarter, throw jabs, be conservative offensively to keep them off the field. Like, I did not see any of that from Arkansas. I saw Arkansas say, we're coming after you. We're going to be aggressive. Let's play ball. If we go down swinging, baby. Nothing tricky about it. We're going after you. And to have that confidence coming off of a loss against Texas A&M, I love that from Arkansas, man. I love that. And, I mean, honestly, Arkansas, they left points out there in the first half. And I just continue to see this mentality from Arkansas that Matt Rule, the head coach for Nebraska, talked a lot about when I was with him at Baylor. It's this whole idea of, hey, what's next? Good or bad? Can't control it. What's next? And that was Arkansas last night. You lose your 2 best offensive players late in that game. Taylor Green, your quarterback, who had been really your source of offensive output with Jaquindon Jackson, your running back. They can't help you. What's next? Hey, in the first half, you leave points out there. What's next? Let's keep rolling. You got to stop, a talented, dynamic quarterback, a great offensive mind in Josh Heupel to win the football game. You got to keep them out of the end zone. They get down into the red zone. What's next? Just continue to, again, it's cliche, but they continue to play the next play, have great focus to reset, and not let the moment be too big for them. And ultimately, I think that was a big reason as to why they won that football game, if you're Arkansas. So, Sam Pittman, man, we'll see what happens the rest of the year, but so easy to root for. So easy to wish success for someone like him. Just the personality, the authenticity. To me, he embodies everything that is right with college football still. I love that. So if you're Arkansas, this is kind of a jolt to you for the rest of the season. This kind of gives you a little bit of momentum, a little bit of extra life that, a third loss would have taken away from you. I cannot wait to see what they do going forward here. Are they going to win the SEC? Hard to say that right now, but I tell you what, they're going to be a tough out. They're going to be one of those teams every single week. You hope and pray Taylor Green is healthy going forward here. It's too early. We don't have any information on that as of right now. But as long as he's healthy, they're going to be a very difficult and annoying team to play every single weekend. If you're Tennessee, again, it hurts. Nothing about your season is over, in my estimation. To me, all this does, it puts emphasis on splitting the Georgia game and the Bama game. And you've seen now, for both Georgia and Bama, both already have a loss. Bama lost to Vanderbilt, and Georgia, I mean, the way they played in that first half against Alabama is going to get them beat by a lot of folks. They're gettable, okay? So if you're Tennessee, the margin for error becomes razor thin. You got to dial it in, but the pieces are there. You correct the correctables, and I think you're in good shape. But again, it hurts. Let it hurt, and hit the reset button. Let it be the reason why you hit the reset button here going forward. So Tennessee going down in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Pitt Boston Company getting it done. Let me know your thoughts on this on my socials, Instagram, Twitter, at JD Patel. Looking forward to hearing from y'all there. Also, as always, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate y'all. Gosh, dang it, we love y'all. This is college football. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.